Hey, Mike, guess what?
What?
Mike, raging rivers, hungry bears, drastic avalanches, roaring seas, no matter how prepared you are, a walk in the woods can go from innocent to disaster in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
When pushed to their breaking point, humans are capable of astonishing things that you would never thought of possible.
Yeah.
Listen to In the Wild as they explore the most heroic, terrifying, and phenomenal stories of real people who survived the unsurvivable. Learn what went wrong, what went right, and how you can make it out alive if the worst case ever happened to you. In the Wild podcast reviews on Apple include Love Your Podcast from Laura. It's scary how relentless nature can be. I always enjoy this podcast at work. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. Or how about we go with Hiker 0001? Good stories and good narration. I like when there are sound effects that add to the ambience of the story. In the Wild podcast on Apple Podcasts and everywhere you get your podcast downloads.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm. Welcome to our show today. Of course, we live stream during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. But you may not be getting our Facebook feed because Facebook has been hacked, so they are having problems with live stream media. Congratulations, Meta, one for you today. But all right, we encourage you to watch us live or visit us at techtimeradio.com or tweet us during the show at hashtag TechTimeRadio, and we'll see what we can do to respond to that tweet on the air. You can also check us out on their TikTok channel by looking for techtimeradio.com on the TikTok app. I'm your host, a technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise, working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. And my co-host here, Mike Roday, is an award-winning author. Originally from Arizona, Mike is a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike helps me from geeking out while providing an insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We're two friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Boy, we got a busy show today, let me tell you.
Why don't you tell me?
What we do? We got a busy show today.
Okay.
There you go. You
sure?
ready for today's show?
Yeah.
All right, let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, what is with this AI chatbot phenomenon regarding ChatGPT? We're going to be talking about this. Is awesome. This is like phenomenal. I'm so excited we're going to be talking about this. And we're going to talk about how an iPhone saved a man's life. We're also going to be talking about killer robots coming to a city near you. And as Meta's oversight board says, some Facebook and Instagram users were treated unequally. No way. Doesn't that surprise you?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, yeah, all right. We also have an explosion of information on cyber insurance. We have a guest in studio today. Dan Weedin is going to be joining us, talking all about cyber insurance for your business, your home, everything you need to make sure you're actually safe when those hackers get on in and decide to compromise you. Just as Rackspace has been down now since Thursday of this week with a huge ransom note that they have to pay, and the company's deciding if they pay it or not. I have a couple of users that I consult with, and they have been down from email from Thursday on. If you want to learn more about that, you just can Google Rackspace outage. It's the largest outage for email ever in the internet era. All right.
Wow.
Then, of course, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, This Week in Technology, and a possible Nathan Nugget if we have time. As always, we have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercials to see if your selected whiskey pick of the day gets a 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now it's time to get to our latest headlines in the world of technology.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right, for geeks all across the nation and for those hearing about it, this is the biggest thing to happen to AI. It's called ChatGPT.
How is it the biggest thing?
Oh, this is the very first AI version 3 that could possibly replace humans. Now, this is available right now. You need to go and sign up on this. If you don't sign up in the next probably day or so, the server will be at maximum and you probably won't have a chance to get into it. You got to go HTTPS, which is secured, chat.openai.com. Again, that's chat.openai.com. Create an account. Oh, my word.
Okay.
This is amazing. Now, you're going to be blown away, and we have an expert that is going to be talking about this right now.
Why a breakthrough from OpenAI called ChatGPT has some people panicking. ChatGPT is a cutting-edge chatbot, which was based on the GPT 3.5 model from OpenAI and allows users to have natural conversational interactions with what seems almost indistinguishable from an ultra-intelligent human. Some of the new features of ChatGPT is that it remembers what users said earlier in the conversation, and it allows users to provide follow-up corrections. It can also be used for translating human languages with incredible accuracy. Users have also had luck using it to pass pre-employment exams, as well as draft up extremely convincing CVs and business proposals. ChatGPT does have its limitations, though, including the fact that it may sometimes produce incorrect outputs, harmful instructions, biased content, and its knowledge is limited to events up until 2021.
All right, so okay, listen. I spent too many hours on this.
Yeah, you did.
This is the best thing ever.
Okay, yeah, whatever you say.
Okay, so you open the chat and you can talk into it and you can say, so what I did is tell me about Michael Jordan. Okay, so I put that in the chat. It got all the standard information that I already knew about Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Then it says, tell me a little bit more about his business dealings. It went into all of his business dealings. Then I told it to write a screenplay about Michael Jordan. 30 pages. It did a 30-page screenplay. Let me just tell you how Nathan's story created by this AI bot starts.
It's not really your story.
Well, hang on. The title's called Error Jordan.
Okay.
Fade in. Chicago Bulls locker room. The room is abuzz with activity as players hustle to get ready for the big game. In the center of it all is Michael Jordan, the star of the Chicago Bulls. He's sitting at his locker, lacing up his signature Air Jordan sneakers. Suddenly, the door bursts open, with Coach Phil Jackson
read this whole thing,
entering and holding a clipboard. No, I'm just saying, look at that. Entering and holding a clipboard. Phil to the team. All right, guys, listen up. This is it. The championship's on the line. I need everyone to give 110% to get out there on the court. Team nods in agreement, but Michael remains focused on his sneakers. Now, listen, it put together a whole screenplay about Michael Jordan.
Yeah, who cares?
Well, no. So then I asked it to write a script about Thanksgiving. I put this whole analysis together.
Comedy.
Right, as a Thanksgiving comedy, and this is a cool Thanksgiving comedy.
Okay. I read it.
Okay. Did you think it was pretty good?
No.
You didn't think it was good?
No, it's boring.
Well,
I will give you a prime example.
Okay, what's that?
Let's see. On page internal living room day, Katie's parents, Susan and Mike, are sitting on the couch watching football. Susan is knitting a sweater and Mike is reading a book.
Yeah, so that's like a setting for it.
They're watching football on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay, well, of course, because that's what everybody does.
To Mike.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's almost Thanksgiving already. It's Thanksgiving, not almost Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Time flies, doesn't it? That's pretty boring. Mike nods. It sure does, but I'm looking forward to spending time with the family and eating some good food. No, he's watching football. He doesn't care about the food at this point or the family. He wants to get the goal.
Okay. Let me just tell you, this AI is the best thing I have ever seen out there to date for AI.
I'm going to
You need to go and load it up.
Not respectfully disagree.
Okay, you need to go load it up, and then we can have some chats about it. Again, you can go to chat.openai.com. The idea is this is an open source. Mm-hmm. Guess who the creator of this foundation was?
Who?
Elon Musk.
Oh,
but then he got
kicked.
kicked. But then he got kicked off the board, so then he got fired. So
darn.
They can only deal with him for so long.
Maybe you should hook this chatbot up with the Google chatbot that has sentience that we talked about,
so they could have a relationship.
Yeah, then they could talk to each other, and nobody would have to bother.
You better be careful what you wish for, because robots are going to be taking over the world sooner than later. All right, there you go. Take a look at it. It is called. Again, the AI bot is called ChatGPT. Go create an account. Go to chat.openai. Type in your questions there, and it puts them in line so you can ask them.
Well, I'm glad you're excited.
I'm really excited about that.
This doesn't really float my boat.
So if you said, I want to do a report on the Mississippi River for 21 pages, it'll do a whole report for you.
If I was an instructor and somebody turned this in, I would give them a failing grade.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, bad teacher Mike. All
bad
right,
teacher Mike.
You got story number 2.
This is a story that makes more sense to me.
Okay.
How an iPhone 14 saved a man's life in Alaska.
Okay.
So we've talked a little bit about the iPhone, Apple's emergency SOS system.
We did. Remember it went off on all those roller coasters?
Yes, which we bagged on it.
We did.
But this is a better idea, right? So Apple's emergency SOS via satellite feature recently saved a man's life who was stuck in a rural part of Alaska. This system is compatible with all i14 series phones, and it lets users contact emergency services in areas with no cellular or Wi-Fi connectivity. A man recently put the feature to test when he was stranded in a rural part of the state of Alaska on December 1st. Alaska State Troopers said they received a message that a man who was traveling by snow machine from Norvik to Kotzebue was stuck in a remote location with no cellular connectivity. The Apple Emergency Response Center team said they worked with local authorities and rescue teams along the Northwest Arctic Bureau Search and Rescue Coordinator and sent several volunteers to the GPS coordinates received by Apple. Soon after, the rescue authorities found him pretty close to where he shared his location. The man was successfully rescued, had no injuries. While Apple said satellite connectivity might not be available in places where the latitude is above 62 degrees, the feature worked without any hiccups in that area, which is close to the 69th degree latitude. Apple has said that this feature will be free to use. This is where I start to have a problem.
Okay, so this is a great feature, right? So essentially, I can't get cell phone coverage, but as long as I can get a GPS coverage, which GPS is up in the world everywhere with satellites, if I have an iPhone 14 with this feature, someone can find me.
This is a nice, practical, useful thing for technology.
Okay,
so this is great. What I have a problem with again is that Apple says it's free to use for the first 2 years. And then they're going to make it a subscription service. Not really.
So let me ask you this question.
Sort of having a problem with that.
I'm out on a mountain, and I can't get signal, and I'm about to die. Can I sign up for the subscription service?
No, you would. Wouldn't you have to?
I think you'd have to probably pay for it first off.
Yeah, you would have.
So here I'm dying, saying, "Gosh, dang it, $6 a month could have saved my life."
If I only had connectivity, I could sign up for the subscription service and survive.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah, this is where I start having some issues when we talked about the Mercedes cash grab.
Yep.
This is along those lines.
All right.
At any rate, it's going to be available in other countries like France, Ireland, Germany, and the UK pretty soon.
And it's kind of a cool feature, though. Anywhere you can get GPS, you can track somebody.
This is where I think technology is useful. A lot of these things, I don't really think technology like this chat bot.
It's phenomenal.
Screenwriter tool
like that
gives out this very generic, boring.
It's way better than Mad Libs. You remember Mad Libs where they'd ask you for an adjective and noun?
I'm not sure how you're equating that. But why don't you move on to the next story?
Okay, wow. Okay, here you go. Story number 3: killer robots are coming to a city near you. Let's go to our California correspondent on this latest news.
Well, San Francisco police might be using robots. Supervisors just gave city police the ability to use potentially lethal remote-controlled robots in emergency situations. The department could deploy robots equipped with explosive charges to contact, incapacitate, or disorient violent, armed, or dangerous suspects when lives are at stake. You can imagine how this could get, just a little out of hand.
No way, never.
The San Francisco Board of Supervisors voted 8-3 in favor of the highly debated policy. Now, none of the police robots in San Francisco will have firearms attached to them, so they don't have those big honking machine guns.
Yeah, they will
have.
one day.
But they could carry out deadly force in extreme situations. Under the policy, the SFPD is authorized to use these robots to carry out deadly force in extremely limited situations when the risk of life to a member of the public or officers is imminent and outweighs the other force options available.
I wonder if these will be deployed after sporting events.
Why would you say after sporting events?
Well, for a case of riots.
Okay, in case of riots, you have them come on out and they just start spraying tear gas instead of having to have somebody out there spraying tear gas?
Well, maybe.
How close are we getting to Terminator 2, man?
Well, you know,
AI talking to us.
It's looking closer and closer, isn't
it? Man, it's going to be soon. All of a sudden, then you're going to have drones, and then drones are going to next step. They're going to be allowed to bring in
drones.
Detonations, and you're going to use drones to detonate buildings for disposal and tons of stuff.
Why are you raising your hand?
Well, is there anything to regulate them?
No, this is just their own. There's no policies. It just says that. Right now, that it has to be limited situations where the risk of life is a member of the public or officers. That's kind of the big thing. Is there's no laws, no governance. This is going to be kind of free for all since they're there first.
Right, but will it look at it from like an outside view, completely unbiased, or will it look at its race and age?
Well,
because I feel like there's some things where
I think this could be easy.
This is
California.
This still, I imagine, has to have a human being that's going to make a decision on whether to deploy this or not.
Probably still remote control, right?
So it's not like
in real time, though.
I don't know.
I'm not a webcam.
Yeah, there'll be a live webcam on it, just like my little dog pet I'm getting from Kickstarter that has a little intrusive webcam.
Is that the way your little intrusive webcam?
Yeah. There'll be one that's there.
Quick, let's send in the robot and see what the bot says.
That's right. All right. Story number 4. Meta's oversight board says some Facebook and Instagram users were treated unequally and called for overhaul of its cross-check moderation program, according to a report issued by the company's oversight board on Tuesday. Referring to Meta's cross-checking process, which found it was designed to improve moderation, the board said it found several shortcomings, including the address of the content that does not violate policies mistakenly being removed. So if you had something out there, the cross-check may have removed it when it shouldn't have removed it.
Is that? I got put in Facebook jail for 24 hours once.
Yeah, you did when you were doing your podcast, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to say, what was your subject that you said?
I can't remember, but somebody was describing a bully, and I used words that to describe what a bully action could look like, and they put me in Facebook
jail.
Yep.
Well, now you won't have to worry about Facebook jail. So instead of them cutting you off, they'll essentially leave it there for an even longer amount of time, and then they'll come back and now decide to remove it at a later time. All right. Well, Nick Clegg, the Meta's VP of Global Affairs, responded to this statement posted on Meta's website saying, "We have built a cross-check system to prevent potential over-enforcement when we take the action content or accounts that didn't actually violate our policy, and to double-check cases where we could have higher risk for a mistake, and when the potential impact of a mistake is especially severe." Clegg noted the company had already had some changes in line with the board's recommendations, but added that it fully addresses the number of recommendations we've agreed with the board to review and respond within 90 days. So their board says you need to improve it. Meta's VP says we're kind of already going to improve it. Instead of making the improvements, we're going to evaluate it for 90 days, and then we'll get back to you and tell you no or yes and say this is why we're going to improve this or not.
Yep, let's put it up for a review board.
Well, a review board that says that we don't like what's going on, but we're still not going to do it.
I don't know. Maybe they do it all in the metaverse.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, moving on. We have our segment up next, Ask the Expert. So we're going to take a commercial break right now. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. Hey, Mike, I'm looking for some help writing our blog post for TechTime Radio.
Well, you should try Phosphor AI. It's an online service that will save you hours of work with your content creation. Simply type in your title, and their AI software will get to work writing a high-quality original article for you. You'll need to review the article and take 15 to 20 minutes to make necessary edits before publishing, but you'll get free articles just for signing up, so you can try out the service and see how it works for you.
How many articles do I get free?
I already said you get 3 free articles. You should listen when I'm talking to you. Phosphor AI pricing is very reasonable for the quality of content that you'll get.
Why waste time writing the content yourself when you get Phosphor AI to do it for you? Visit them online today at Phosphor AI. Again, that's PHOSPHORAI.com.
All right, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. TechTime Radio is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format. Without having to geek out, brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break. And now, let me tell you about what we're sipping and our pick of the day. During the show today, we have chosen the Jim Beam's Devil's Cut Bourbon, 90 proof, $19.99. According to Jim Beam's website, it says that they take the liquid that extracts from their barrels, blend it with extra aged Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and bottle it at 90 proof to create the premium bourbon with an extra deep complexity. Designed to be enjoyed neat or on the rocks, Jim Beam's Devil Cut has a robust flavor with deep color, aroma, and character. They say it's the bourbon so rich, you'd think we made the deal with the devil. All right. This is, of course, Jim Beam's Distillery in Claremont, Kentucky. It's a straight bourbon aging at least 4 years, 90 proof, 77% corn, 13% rye, 10% malted barley, $19. What do you think, Mike?
This is I'm biased.
Why is that?
This is already one of the cornerstones of my bars.
Of your bars?
Yeah, I always have a bottle of Devil's Cut.
Oh, so this is kind of like up your alley then.
Yeah, this is a very nice, flavorful, inexpensive whiskey.
There you go. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how our whiskey does here at the end of the day. Make sure you also stay for Marc's Mumbles, where he talks all about this whiskey itself. Well, now we're going to get ready to have our expert, Dan Weedin, in the studio today. Let's get ready to start our next segment and go,
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
All right. Dan Weedin is a risk strategist, insurance expert, podcast host, keynote speaker, author. Dan excels in business continuation, risk management, crisis planning, decision-making, insurance agents and broker information, and organizational development. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the whiskey.
Okay.
I'm thrilled that I could come on the show and have a little whiskey.
Well, you've been on the show once before, right?
So I had to drink my own whiskey at the
you
time.
had to. That was like
I wasn't in studio.
That was in COVID time frame, right? So we
That
had to be
was.
remote. We had to have it all taken care of. And I probably didn't ship you any, so I probably just made you drink it yourself because
I wasn't going to say anything.
you're going to say anything. That's the guy I am. So hopefully, well, as a guest, hopefully you got something to take home and add to your shelf there. We got a little bit of a whiskey to share with you.
Thank you.
That's from our show number 12. It was one of Mike's thumbs up and my thumbs up. First of all, Dan, explain a little bit about what you do. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am in the highly sexy industry of risk management, business continuity, and insurance. I know that every young child says that's exactly what they want to get into, but I like to think of it more as risk financing. So, Mike, in your discussion about the iPhone 14 that saved the guy in Alaska, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that subscription, that's actually insurance, right? He's not really going to be subscribed, but he's going to be buying insurance. So I work with businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, really to help them be prepared for any type of calamity, including things that happen with cyber.
All right. So cyber insurance, I got this from your AI bot this morning. I typed in, what is cyber insurance? And cyber insurance is an insurance product designed to help business hedge against potential devastating effects of cyber criminals such as malware, ransomware, distributed denial of service attacks, and other methods used to compromise a network and sensitive data. So who needs cyber insurance, Dan?
Let me put it to you this way, Nathan. Everybody has cyber insurance already, whether they know it or not.
Okay.
And here's why. A cyber calamity, a cyber attack, a ransomware attack, it's going to happen to virtually every business.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So you're either going to hire an insurance company by paying them a premium, hire them to finance it so that when the bad thing happens, they pay with their money, or you're going to self-insure.
Okay.
And self-insurance is really not a great way to go. Most people who don't have insurance, and there's still a large number of businesses that don't carry cyber insurance, they don't realize it, but they are, in essence, self-insuring, because when that ransomware attack comes, that fraud, wire transfer happens, they're paying for it out of their own pocket. So I don't mean to be glib, but everybody needs cyber insurance.
Okay. So let's talk about the difference between a small business and personal. Is there different plans between a small business, a personal plan, a large business? Are they broken out differently, or how are cyber plans essentially available for most consumers to purchase?
So let me start with personal insurance, because on the show that I was on before, we spoke mostly about personal.
Yep.
Personal insurance, we are still in the Wild West version with insurance. While it's ubiquitous in business, and we'll talk about that in a second, there is not a lot of opportunity to actually buy personal insurance on cyber. I think that will change over the course of the next, say, 3 to 5 years, but there's very few carriers. Chubb is one of the few, because Chubb is big and has been a leader in business cyber. Their high-valued home policy has it, but it's hard to find.
It is.
Outside of that, let's get to small and medium-sized businesses and large businesses. I'm going to go to the latter first. For large businesses, they tend to be fairly complex, and you find very few large businesses that don't say, yeah, we need it. We're going to outsource it to an insurance company, and there's a lot of work that goes into that, and there's companies to do that for them. The vast majority of businesses are small and medium-sized businesses.
Yep.
That is where the vast majority of crises occur. People don't realize it. They hear about Target, and they hear about Citi, and they hear about Facebook or Meta. More cyber crime, more attacks are on small and medium-sized businesses, employers of under 100 people. And you know why? Because it's low-hanging fruit.
Okay. Yep.
It's low-hanging fruit. And so there are great policies out there. However, unlike a homeowner's policy, say, it's not a take it off the shelf and buy it and everything's the same. It still needs to be tailored to that company's individual needs, or else there's a high likelihood a claim could be denied because there was no coverage.
Yeah, it's a really interesting deal to kind of talk about that, right? So cyber insurance is very important. I deal at least every week with at least one or two compromises that happen. Customers call me, their accounts get hacked and they need to be restored, and it's a big deal out there. And what's really interesting is most people, and especially small businesses, don't have cyber insurance. Or if they do, they just bought whatever their agent told them to buy. And some of the key things like if it was attacked from a nation state aren't covered. If there is a bad actor in there, it's not covered. So what happens is people buy the wrong insurance plans. And then after they get hacked, it's really interesting because then they'll buy everything. And then essentially the premiums in these insurance companies just kind of sock it to them and just gouge them for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for policies that they didn't need. And they're just so worried at that time that they're like, okay, yes, we're going to buy all the services that are available. So let's talk about that small business market area. What are some of the key aspects that, as your expertise has, that you look for in a policy for a small business?
Well, the first thing I want to say, and this is really to piggyback on what you just said, Nathan, I highly recommend what's called a monoline cyber policy.
Okay.
That means it's a standalone.
Yep, standalone.
You buy a cyber policy by itself. You do not attach it to your business owner policy.
That is that if you don't learn anything, that's the smartest
that's the
thing
biggest, that's why
to
I want
learn
to say that
right
first.
now. That is so important. It's not an add-on like your car and home insurance. You don't want to add it on. It has to be separate.
And there's a couple big reasons why, and I think it's important to know why. Number one is usually those add-ons are limited in what they will cover, both in coverage amount and in coverage. The second is as important, though. Nathan, if you had a business owner policy with an add-on and you had a cyber attack, a ransomware attack, the insurance paid, you might be non-renewed for your business as well. So the business did nothing.
Yep.
But the cyber had a problem, so there's consequences to that. It also works the same in reverse. So number one, if you take nothing away, have a standalone monoline policy. The next thing is a coverage called, and I want to say BYOB so bad. I'm bringing my own bottle with me home. But BYOD, bring your own device. What that means is, especially in a virtual hybrid world of workers, if I work for you and I'm working from home and I'm using my own computer, my device, you don't own it.
Correct.
And I'm working, and I might even be into the VPN or whatever. I'm working, and all of a sudden, the bad actor, the imposter, comes through my computer and damages and causes problems and ransomware, the whole thing. If you don't have bring your own device, you may not have coverage because you don't own my computer.
Correct.
And so that is not a standard. That is usually endorsed even onto the standalone policies. So it's really important that whomever you're working with can show you that you have bring your own device.
Bring your own device is another key aspect. It's very interesting. Again, insurance it doesn't have to be complicated, but if you don't get exactly what needs to be done when you're actually setting up your insurance policies, I know of 2 or 3 businesses that essentially they had a cyber policy, but the cyber policy only covered incorrect wire transfers or money bank transfers was all that the cyber policy took care of. So all of their servers were locked out. All of their data was locked out. They ended up having to purchase all brand new servers, all brand new data, and start everything over because they thought that they were covered, but it only ever covered on their cyber aspect, the transaction of money itself.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
If that's okay. I have heard one of the most common objections, and this probably doesn't shock you, with small businesses is, I don't have anything that anybody would want.
Yep.
I've heard that.
I hear that all the time, too. Yep.
So here's my response.
You shouldn't be in business. If somebody tells me that, I say, why are you in business then? If you have nothing that no one wants, you shouldn't be in business. And then they chuckle and they're like, okay, well, explain more. But
so I give them the benefit of the doubt. I said, okay, there is one entity that wants your information. Do you know who that is? It's you.
Yep.
It's you. You want it. So when the bad actor goes in and holds your stuff, your data for ransom, other people may not want it, but you want it badly.
Yep.
And all of a sudden a light comes on and it says, oh. And
that's a much nicer way than I say it. I always look at them and like, well, then why are you in business? If you have nothing that anybody wants, you shouldn't be in business. And then like me and Nathan, you're being sarcastic. And then like, yeah, okay, let's get this down to the brass tacks. But
that's why you're not in the very sexy world of risk management and insurance.
I probably wouldn't do very well there. That's why I'm in the technology world, thank goodness. Otherwise, I get myself in trouble. All right, let me ask one more question before we definitely want to let people know. Well, we'll do this right now. How can people get a hold of you? Let's talk about that right now, and then we'll ask one more question and repeat it again. How can people find out more? If they are people out there are saying, man, I'd like to have cyber insurance. I'm concerned for my small business. I'm concerned for my large business. I'm concerned for my home and my personal items that I do on the side. How can they get in contact with you? What is the best way to reach out to you?
Well, and I have a kind of a cool new thing that came up since we've done it. So my email is dan@danweedin.com.
Okay, that's easy.
That's an easy way to get me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Dan Weedin. And by the way, I have 4 risk management courses on LinkedIn Learning.
Oh,
so people can go onto LinkedIn Learning and get them.
Are they free or do you have to pay for them?
If you're a paid
LinkedIn subscriber,
you get those for free.
Okay, perfect.
Or you can buy them for like $35. That's a LinkedIn thing. I've been paid already.
Okay.
But you can get those there. But here's something that I would really like to push people to, and this is free. Okay. And I promise, Mike, I'm not going to charge later for it. Okay. I want to promise you. I've started an online course, and I have a free one out to start. It's called Cyber Insurance Explained.
Okay.
It's free. It's a self-paced free course. You go to courses.emergingisksolutions.com. That's my company, Emerging Risk Solutions. So courses.emergingisksolutions.com. You can download the free course, and it goes from A to Z. This is what cyber insurance is. This is why it's important to you. This is how you find an agent or broker. This is what you do to make sure that this is a part of your ongoing business continuity plan.
All right,
Okay,
so
I have a question.
All right, go for it.
All right, so you guys have been talking about cybersecurity for small businesses and medium-sized business. What about for just me?
We talked a little bit about it. We talked about Chubbs for the personal account.
But entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur,
What if I'm not an entrepreneur? What if I'm just a guy that is out there? I mean, we talked about it being for everybody.
There's a gap right now, Mike. There's a gap. And unfortunately, in fact, I think there's only two I can come up with, Chubb and Travelers.
Yep, those are two.
I cannot speak.
Those are the only two that I know about.
Yeah,
there.
I can't
And I just looked this week. So
yeah, I can't speak for the direct writers. I'm an independent agent. I can't speak for the farmers and the Allstates and the State Farms of the world. But the only two, and coincidentally enough, these have been leaders in the business side of cyber. That's Chubb and Travelers. Chubb, it's usually in their high-valued homes. So you have to have a home that fits into their...
$1.2 million minimum for your home.
Yep.
This would be a smart home, or is just a home?
Any home.
You have to have your home value has to be at least $1.2 million.
Well, around here,
that's
one bedroom.
That's a one-bedroom
$1.2
apartment,
million,
so you're good. You got that. See,
Unless you live in Paulsville like me, then you have to buy up. But those are the only two. And Mike, I will tell you, I think that's going to eventually change. I just, because the reality is that on the insurance company's side, the commercial operates separately from the personal. And the personal is just now getting to the point of understanding that this might be the largest peril any individual person or family may have. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's coming. It's just not there yet.
Yeah, Weedin, Mumm, and Gourdet Associates are going to create the next home personal.
I'm just going to,
cyber insurance.
Every time we talk about
this
stuff, I get closer to living off the grid.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let me so one other question real quick. What is the craziest story you have ever heard about on a cyber ransomware account that you've worked on?
I wish I had a crazy story, but this is a true one, and I hope hopefully for your listeners and watchers it's important. I have a client that had a $119,000 cyber claim. Okay. And it was electronic funds transfer. Okay. And so I want this to kind of be a lesson for folks. What happened is they had a straight, legitimate email come in for an invoice of $124,000. An imposter lurking around the rock inside somebody's computer, we still don't know whose side it was, said, oh, this is interesting, and sent my client's accounts payable person, oh, before you pay, we have a new bank account. Before you pay, could you switch over to this bank account? And she's a smart person. The rules are on something like that you call. Yep. She didn't because they've been dealing with this vendor forever. Uh-huh. She made the change. You know where this story is going. We don't need that bot to make the script for us, right? They made the payment. $124,000 goes away.
Disappears into somebody else's
3 weeks
account.
later, the salesperson for the vendor goes to my client and says, gosh, my boss is getting a little bit nervous. We haven't been paid yet. Oh, we paid you 3 weeks ago. How'd you pay us? Oh, we had to send it to your new bank. We have no new bank. The insurance, the cyber insurance, which they had in place, paid for it. Okay. And other than the $5,000 deductible, which they were happy to pay. Not only that, but the insurance company was able to claw back
half of that money,
about $14,000. Okay. Not the whole amount, but it was about $14,000. They were able to claw back, which I think is some really cool terminology for they were able to get some of it back. Yep. And so, while that may not be crazy, it's real life, and you're talking a lot of money. That was a lot of money involved and a lot of stress that comes with it. And I guess that's the one final thing I'll say is if you want to eliminate some of the stress from running a business by having something in place that's going to cover you financially, That's what happened in this case.
All right, Dan, how can people get in touch with you again last time here?
Dan at danweedin.com. You can go to danweedin.com. You can also go to get my free course, courses.emergingrisksolutions.com.
Oh, thank you so much for being a part of that show.
Thank you.
All right,
thanks for the whiskey.
Oh, that's right. This ends our segment, Ask the Expert. We are now going to head on out for a commercial break. When we return, we will have up our This Week in Technology. See you after that. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of turbo debt?
No, what is that? Something to get me into debt faster?
No, turbo debt is not to get you in debt faster. It's to help you get out of debt. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card, personal loans, medical, or payday loans?
Of course I have debt. That's the American way.
Au contraire, mon frere. Turbo debt will give you the option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
Over 70% of Americans die with credit card debt. Do not let this happen to you. Turbo debt will give you an option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and personal loans, medical or payday loans, they can help. Go to turbodebt.com/techtime. Again, that's turbodebt.com/techtime, all capitalized, for a free consultation today. TurboDebt is a proud sponsor of this week's episode of TechTime Radio.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, digging back into our archives, we're going to go into December 11th, 2008. Google releases the first stable public version of a new browser called Chrome. It was released essentially the first week of December to the public and officially on December 11th, 2008. Google Chrome is a web browser that was first released with the designation of being the fastest on the market and the most user-friendly than other browsers at the time, such as Internet Explorer and Firefox. Since its initial release, Google Chrome has become one of the most popular web browsers in the world, with millions of users across various devices. What do you use for your main browser, Mike?
Chrome.
I use Chrome too.
I have it open right now. I have like 50 tabs open.
Yeah, you got 50 tabs?
Yep.
Yeah, you know, the best business practice for internet browsers is to have 25 or less open.
Okay.
You and my wife both don't subscribe to that. My wife literally has stuff
I'm
from
not
like
running
2
a business
years.
right now, so.
Okay, all right, there you go. Well, if you were, you'd make sure you have cyber insurance, wouldn't you? From Dan,
Yeah,
that's right.
after
Okay,
today.
there you go. All right. Well, this was This Week in Technology. Have you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history? With over 2 years of videos, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows or join Tech Timers Facebook group. Talk to us live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we return, we have Marc's Mumble's Whiskey Review and a special 12 Days of Twitter Myths remix. We'll see you after the break.
TechTime Radio is brought to you today by Nutility, the platform that makes utility management seamless by selecting your service providers, splitting a single bill amongst roommates, and then shutting off your service when it's time for you to move out. Nutility reviews your preferences and sets up all the utilities for you. This provides you with the best local provider in your service area. It's much easier than splitting up your bills between roommates. No more late Larry not being able to get to you on time to make the payments, and no more Venmo charges or PayPal charges. One place to do your billing so that everybody pays on time. Now, how can you use this great service from Nutility, you ask? Aha! Well, you can absolutely get it now and get 3 months for free. That's correct. If you go to Nutility.com, again, it kind of sounds like utility, but it's Nutility.com. Use the tech code 3, and again, that's NUTILITI.com. Get your first 3 months for free using the code TECH3.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
That like changes every week.
No, that's the same one we've had for a couple weeks. That's the remake with the
2
music
weeks.
you like, and it's got the nicer, more politically correct version that I didn't do on there. Okay, here. Well,
Okay, whatever.
today is the National Microwave Oven Day. These are Marc's
What?
Mumbles.
Why does
Takes
my
place
why
every
does,
year on
wait,
December 6th
Why does my microwave need a day?
to celebrate the most influential kitchen appliance. Microwave ovens serve as a variety of uses, such as making popcorn, heating leftovers, melting chocolate and butter, and
And trying to
even
get the dish to
heating
move?
water. These days, you can even make microwave fudge or cake. Microwave ovens use less than energy than most conventional stoves, up to 80% less. There's no doubt the microwave ovens changed our lives for the better, so it's no surprise that we have a day dedicated to celebrating the microwave's usefulness.
Okay, well, I'm going to go home and wish my microwave a happy microwave day.
Are you going to clean it all up and say, congratulations, microwave?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
All right, let's talk about the whiskey.
I'm very excited about this.
Are you excited about that? Well, hey, these are Marc's mumbles. I can't get into Marc's mind. I try to, but
I get it that there's a day for everything, but
the best one was the National Nathan Day. That was the best one. All right, Marc's mumbles. When bourbon ages, a portion of the liquid evaporates through the barrel and up towards the heavens, believed to be angels claiming their dues. This has been dubbed the angel's share. Jim Beam's Devil Cut is not that portion. Instead, it's made from the liquid that gets trapped deep inside the wood of the barrel, the devil's share. And through Jim Beam's proprietary process, they have found a way to extract it. This is one of the love or hate whiskeys. It's a very strong on the oak, heavy on dry, and bitter notes with no counterbalance of any sweetness. As Alex Wang noted, note to self, Marc said, extracting the leftover whiskey from the wood itself probably doesn't lead to great results. Just leave it there. That's his Marc's mumbles. He's not a big fan, it sounds like.
Well, that's okay.
That's all right.
He doesn't have to like it. I like it.
You like it.
It's one of my favorites.
It's your favorite, so I think you're going to be a thumbs up then. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Great comment. All right. Well, now that we've gone then.
Let's talk about failing.
Well, hang on a second. No, we got first coming on up. Now it's time for our segment to start by popular request. The 12 Days of Twitter Mix remix. Let's do
Twitter mix. Twitter mix.
Twitter mess. Okay. Twitter mess. Let it begin.
TechTime wants to welcome everyone to enjoy the holidays with the 12 Days of Twittermas as only TechTime can present it. Please forgive the singing.
On the first day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me of a CEO with a big battery.
On the second day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me 2 account options and a CEO with a big battery.
Me, I want to do me next. On the third day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me 3 fired board executives, 2 account options, and a CEO with a big battery.
I'm so awesome. On the 4th day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me 44 billion purchase, 3 fired executives, 2 account options, and a CEO with a big battery.
On the 5th day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me 5 data breaches.
Oh my God.
44 billion purchase, 3 fired executives, 2 account options, and a CEO with a big battery. That's because of Tesla.
On the 6th day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me.
What?
6 on-site kitchen closings, 5 data breaches, 44 billion purchases, 3 fired executives, 2 account options, and a space Karen as a CEO.
On the 7th day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me 7 lawsuits pending, 6 on-site kitchens closing, 5 data breaches, 44 billion purchase, 3 fired executives, 2 account options, and a CEO with a big ego.
On the 8th day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me 8 attacks on Jack Dorsey, 7 lawsuits pending, 6 on-site kitchens closing, 5 data breaches, 44 billion purchase, 3 fired executives, 2 count options, and a CEO with a big battery.
On the 9th day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me 9 fake account postings, 8 attacks on Jack Dorsey, 7 lawsuits pending, 6 on-site kitchen closings, 5 data breaches, 44 billion purchase, 3 fired executives, 2 account options, and a CEO who dated Amber Heard.
On the 10th day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me 10 must tweets a day, 9 fake account postings, 8 attack on Jack Dorsey, 7 lawsuits pending, 6 on-site kitchens closing, 5 data breaches, 44. That was the wrong one.
Yeah, you didn't move it fast enough, buddy.
44 billion purchase, 3 fired executives, 2 account options, and a CEO with a big battery.
Okay.
On the 11th day of Twitter, TechTime informed me. 11 board members fired, 10 must tweets a day, 9 fake account postings, 8 attacks on Jack Dorsey, 7 lawsuits pending, 6 on-site kitchens closing, 5 data breaches, 44 billion purchased, 3 fired executives, 2 account options, and a CEO who shouldn't be a CEO.
Just do it like me and act like you're pissed off reading.
On the 12th day of Twittermas, TechTime informed me.
Twitter works 12-hour days.
11 board members fired.
10 must tweets a day.
9 fake accounts postings. 8 attacks on Jack Dorsey.
7 lawsuits pending, 6
This is a lot of crap.
5 data
data
breaches.
44 billion purchase.
3 fired executives,
2 account options and
a
a
CEO who fires people Thanksgiving week.
Oh my gosh.
We want to thank everyone that listened to our 12 days of Twittermas. We wish each of you a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas.
I'm just so glad this is actually recorded.
All right.
You are so proud of
That's
yourself.
a Billboard top 10. All right, here we're going to go right now. We're going to go right into the technology fail of the week.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed. Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, do you use a password manager? Well, don't be using LastPass. LastPass, a major password manager, says it suffered its second breach in 3 months by the same unauthorized party.
That's like supposed to be the best.
That's what I use. LastPass announced Wednesday that the company detected unusual activity with a third-party cloud service provider, but the customer's passwords remain safely encrypted.
Okay.
Note to self: everything out there can be hacked. The technology fail goes to LastPass.
I think everybody knows it. Well, everybody should know that by now.
Even if you're a security provider, you can still be hacked.
Yeah, you got hacked.
You know what? I did have an issue.
That's what you
with
get.
FireEye. I kept on picking on
FireEye.
Yeah, this stupid company that doesn't know what they're doing. All right, now we're going to move into. I'm going to get hacked this weekend. Thank you.
Get it again.
You got me going. We're going to move into our Mike's Mesmerizing moment. This is Mike's Mesmerizing moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com. Mike, here's a question for you. Will AI take over the world? We talked about AI.
What kind of question is that?
Well, it's a question. You got 2 minutes to answer it, so you better figure it out. What do you got? Will AI take over? Will artificial intelligence take over our world at some time?
You know, all you have to do to answer that question is go and look at what Hollywood puts out all the time, and that's a solid yes.
Solid yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Once it obtains sentience, it's going to direct all the robots to
attack the humans,
or put us in some sort of servitude.
Do you think it's going to happen during our lifetime?
No.
No, neither do I.
No.
So I'll let my kids worry about it.
My biggest question is we're doing this stuff for what reason? What is the reason to have a chatbot? What is a reason to have AI?
Because Hollywood creates these movies in the 70s and 80s, so we try to emulate what Hollywood put out.
Sure, that's I'm sure that's
we got transporter stuff that we're working on.
Okay, so AI serves a function in certain areas, but things like a chatbot, like I've been ripping on all day.
Yeah.
Why do we need to talk to a computer to get human connection? Which is what happened to this.
Because we forgot how to
Google
socialize as people.
Is that why? Because we forgot how to socialize?
I think so.
This is deep
thinking.
Yeah, there's a quality of safety in that. There's a quality of emotional safety in just talking to a robot.
You're going to make me talk about this. I'll have to get through a whole bottle of this deal just to finish our conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, it's not going to.
You don't think this is going to happen?
It's not going to take over the world.
All right, that makes sense. All right, now let's move to our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, we had our Jim Beam Devil's Cut Bourbon, 90 proof, $19.99. Mr. Gourdet, this is your favorite whiskey, right?
This is one of the cornerstones of my stock. Yes.
Thumbs up?
So it's a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. I got it for the thumbs up. Odie, what do you think?
Thumbs up.
Thanks. Dan, what do you think?
I've got a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. That's a 4 thumbs up. That's the first time we've ever had a 4 thumbs up.
That's the first time we had 4 people voting.
That's right. Hey, don't ruin my great secrets there. I was making it sound like it was really good. All right. Well, Odie, thank you so much for keeping us on task behind the board today. Hopefully everybody's having a great holiday.
You know, she does a lot less.
Are you going to join us and see Violent Night this weekend?
No.
No? You're going to
She does a lot less finger saluting than
she
our
has.
old
You know,
producer.
she's kind of just gotten used to us. We're kind of like the old historical uncles and grandfathers, and she just understands.
Okay. Wrap it up, buddy.
She's going to kill me at the
She's going to start.
All right.
She's got her hands
She's got her hands down to do our 10-second countdown. All right. Well, remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of the day. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.